aside from the better internet, which was much better.
Isn't it though?
I like your note here. I actually have not watched season 2 of Mando yet.
Oh. This will all have to wait.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have to wait.
It's like until I beat Cyberpunk.
Retro Gaming Podcast is our 68th episode, and I am Al.
I'm Nick.
How am I sounding? Am I sounding okay?
Sounded good on my end.
All right. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Had a I say decent Thanksgiving. As good as to be expected during these crazy times.
Yeah, I feel ya. They're it was good enough. It was hard this year. Not that we did anything big, we really didn't, but it was just we had Thanksgiving, and then my oldest daughter's birthday was the same
yeah, it's
day.
all kind of overlapped, isn't it? Yeah.
And let me tell you, when you're a parent, that's tough. That's tough. Just having like the two basic holidays at the same time.
Right.
My wife and I were probably up till 2 o'clock in the morning the previous night, just getting the house decorated and stuff. More her than me. I was there for moral support. I suck at crafts, but I was there. But no, she did a really nice job. My daughter just went crazy for it. I have to keep the dog in here because they're on their way home, and my daughters have a tendency to let him out without a leash by leaving the door open.
No bueno.
And he's fast, and I'm fat and slow. And, yeah, that half Boston Terrier gene really translated into his run speed.
That's right. It's all speed. It's a bullet. Furry bullet.
But man, I realized, like, I released the audio episode of the live cast we did for Extra Life. 2 weeks ago. So that was like a holdover, I guess. We haven't really recorded since then, so it's been a lot of like goings on, getting ready for Thanksgiving and stuff and all that. We actually went up to the cabin for Veterans Day week. What, dude? That was amazing.
So good, isn't it?
It was amazing. For everybody listening, Moby, you're gonna have to stay in here till they get home, buddy. Come here, I'll pet you. But yeah, so for anybody listening, we've talked about the cabin before. It's a place his parents own, Nick's parents own, up in the Adirondacks. Like a surprisingly short drive from the Canadian border compared to the drive to get to the cabin, which is a very long drive when you have 3 children in the car. First thing I did was get beer when we got there. It was a long drive, but the craziest thing, it's a beautiful place. It's absolutely beautiful. Like it's in the middle of like the woods and the mountains. It's gorgeous. Lots of land to just walk around on. The house is big. Like, it's a big place, dude. I always forget how big that is. And I was sitting there going, man, like, I wonder if it's just, is it me just remembering it bigger than it was? No, dude. My kids had a blast just running around. They're like, there's like a whole nother floor. I'm like, yeah, you go down that one. Just stay there. No, they were great. They had so much fun just running around and going outside and stuff. And it was just nice for us because, like, COVID hadn't really gotten bad again. Like, it's a shit show now, but it wasn't too bad. And New York, thankfully, was wonderfully taking everything so seriously. And
it's. I think they've even like kind of cracked down a little more because of like the resurgence that was happening.
Yeah.
Like at this point, we're actually parents like because usually we'll go up every Christmas, either like the week before or something like that.
Yeah.
And now we're evaluating, and we're probably going to be calling off because apparently they're even checking up like COVID checkpoints.
Yeah. If you go now, like we missed them by 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, by the Friday, we got home on a Sunday. They started doing them Monday, so we missed them by a day. Not that they would have flagged us or anything, but it was just one of those, like, that's when it hit us, like, oh, it's getting bad again. But, like,
yep.
they were amazing up there about it. Like, every store had somebody outside just standing there. Nope, we're at capacity. Just stand, wait in line. Everybody had masks on. There wasn't one asshole like walking around like, what? Say something. Like there are up here in this fucking ass backwards state. And no, it was a refreshing getaway. Like, we really needed the change of scenery. We needed the just being somewhere else. And like, as always, it was just immaculate when we walked in. So of course we like made sure it was the same way when we left. But it was just one of those like. It was like a time capsule, dude. Like, I don't know how to say it. Aside from the better internet, which was much better. Much
isn't it, though?
But, I mean, otherwise, man, it was like walking into a place, and people, like, the old saying, like, oh, you can't go back home, and it's like, you wonder if you go back to a place like that where you have, like, all these good memories, is it going to be... like you remember it. And this place was exactly like it had always been. And it was just so awesome to just walk through that door and be like, oh my God, like, it's like stepping back in time. I went right out to the porch. Like, my wife got in. She had gone out to get some supplies. And, surprised me with the beer, actually. She was the one that brought the beer in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was like, I just grabbed one. It was cold as hell. And I walked right out to that porch, and I was like, oh, God, this brings back so many memories. But it was great, and I think it was just what we needed. It was very refreshing. We came home, and my Series X was waiting for me, which was dope.
Oh, yeah. Because that was, like, originally it was, like, canceled, and then it was super delayed, and then, like, what was going on with that?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
The cavern just made it all go
Bowie,
away.
I promise I'll let you out as soon as I know they're home. But yeah, it was, how to put it, so I ordered the day they released. I had 5 different retailers open, including the Microsoft e-company store, because I work for a subsidiary and was hoping to jump on that. But no, we crashed
a little
that.
Ching there.
We completely crashed that. But
oh yeah.
It was completely crashed. And I did manage to get through on it to Amazon on release day, and I ordered it. And said my order went through, said that wasn't a problem. I was watching, because I had buddies that had ordered through Amazon, and they got the email that said, yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to ship for you on release day. You'll get it, XX. And I didn't get that. So I was like... All right.
Did you luck out?
This is looking good. Did I luck out? Well, Monday. They were supposed to release Tuesday. That's what I was here. They were supposed to be there Tuesday on ship day. If you hadn't heard anything. So Monday night, I'm pumped. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have my Xbox tomorrow. I'm going to pack it up, and we're going to bring it up to the cabin, and it's going to be great. And then 7:00 p.m. Monday night, I get an email in my inbox from Amazon. Shipping update. I'm like, oh, what could it be?
Dun, dun.
And it's like, there has been an issue with your shipping order, and you will see it sometime before December 31st. And I was like,
sometime.
You're telling me this 6 hours before, when there's no way in fucking hell the company with the best logistics and distribution model on the internet didn't know they were coming up short until 6 hours before release day? Now, see, I went on Twitter and I exploded. I was so pissed off. And then I started hearing from coworkers that they were experiencing the same thing, and I'm like, from Amazon, I'm like, holy God, that I was just getting more and more mad. So I went on Twitter, because at first I'm like, maybe it's just me, maybe they fucked my order. No. Then I start seeing the things roll in, as I was like, did anybody else get this? Like, what the hell's up with this? And then I started pinging the Amazon support tweet, support Twitter, Amazon itself. I'm like, this is bullshit. You absolutely knew whether or not you were going to be able to ship to me and others well before today. You didn't say anything because you didn't want anyone else canceling their orders between September and now to try to get on with another retailer when they got another batch. Complete bullshit. And I literally pinged them pretty much every hour. I was like, I want to talk to somebody. Like, I want to hear exactly what happened because this is bullshit. And, I kept getting the canned shit, and I'm retweeting. I'm like, yeah, this is what we get. Canned bullshit messages. And all of a sudden, the tweets start getting retweeted, and people are like, man, that's bullshit. Like, that's total crap. And I was like, well, all right, it ain't gonna fucking happen, whatever. And I just packed up my Xbox One. I was like, whatever. I'm still gonna bring that to the cabin. I'm still gonna play some Valhalla, and that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to play AC Valhalla. I was looking so forward to that. And I was like, well, I can still play it on the Xbox One. I'm still going to have a good time. Whatever. So, I, bring that up. I start playing. I'm having a blast. It's great. And then Thursday morning, I think it was, I get an email. Shipping update. Your Xbox Series X will be arriving on Saturday. I was like, ha ha, squeaky wheel. Does it again. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. I don't know if it was me just being a whiny bitch on Twitter, which I'm fine with. I've done this before in many occasions, and it paid off just like it did now, and whatever. But yeah, it arrived that Saturday. I got home Sunday. I had already planned on taking Monday off just because you know that drive. And, it was just like
that's always been the reason why I take the day off afterwards.
It's a brutal
just
drive.
To recoup. You gotta have that day off.
And it's like it's easier, and you know what I mean. It's easier when it's just like you and I going up, because it's like, we're stopping here to piss, and then we're gonna keep going till we get there.
Oh, yeah, we go like total marathon. We're like, we get there fast. We got this. It's like pee of an emergency. Piss out the window.
Sarasota Springs, we stop, we piss, we get coffee, and then we're going forward.
That's right.
Yeah, that doesn't happen with kids. We wound up hitting like 3 or 4 rest stops. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. What is he doing, man?
What are you doing, brother?
It's like,
you're walking on the sewing machine. You're climbing the walls. Come here. I'm sorry. I just got to keep you in here until they get home. Because one of them will let you out, and you're still not smart enough to really come back home. I mean, although you did the other night, so I got to give you that credit. But yeah. So I got my Series X. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, the games that are especially the games, I should say, that are Series X enhanced. Jesus, my hair is a fucking mess. Hold on. That's no better anyway.
Got that COVID hair.
I do. It's crazy. I'll get it cut one of these days. I'm kind of liking this wild look anyway. But no, the ones that are enhanced look absolutely gorgeous. Valhalla especially is just... Whew, that is a nice
really
looking game. Yeah, it's a fun game. I like it a lot. I like it a real lot. I don't know if I like it more than Odyssey. Odyssey was one of my favorites. Odyssey had a much bigger world, although the world of Valhalla is still very huge. So I don't want to necessarily qualify that as the main thing. Combat feels a little different than Odyssey. I thought Odyssey's was a little smoother. But everything else is good. I love the story. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I really like it's Assassin's Creed Vikings, man. And if you're in a Viking mood, which I am lately, and I'm really enjoying it. I highly recommend it.
Nice.
I gather you haven't played yet.
Not yet. No, I'm kind of waiting for a little bit of the reviews and kind of like the bugs to get fleshed out a little more. I'm also like highly anticipating Cyberpunk now at this stage, so it's kind of like,
that's really Valhalla's main purpose right now is to keep me from going, is it Thursday yet?
Yeah, just hold you over.
Thursday yet?
Exactly. I think that's where most of like my gaming recently it's just like, I just need something to occupy my time until December 10th.
December 9th.
Oh, no, excuse me. Yeah.
If you're playing on PC, correct?
PC, yeah.
So yeah, it unlocks for us. I think 7:00 p.m. Wednesday.
Oh, 7 o'clock. Okay, gotcha. Good to know. Good to know. Important information.
Turns out I actually bought it on Xbox and PC, so I'll get to play a little bit.
Just play it everywhere.
I'm gonna play a little bit on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm gonna be busy with work and stuff, and then Thursday night we're taking the kids. I don't know if you ever heard of it when you're out this way, but like the Lights in the Parkway thing that they do every year down the Lehigh Valley.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think I've done the Lehigh Valley once, but whenever we've like lived, whenever we moved around, like some place always had like the drive through, like even before COVID.
We're gonna go
now
do
it's
that.
the perfect activity because it's like you're safe inside your car.
This one is like a get out and walk, but it's like
it's a get out and walk. Okay,
but it's like by appointment, very limited capacities. Like we booked this a while ago.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we're gonna go do that on Thursday, and then. I took off on Friday because I was like, when you get home Thursday, I'm going to tuck the kids in, and I'm going to start my Xbox game on Cyberpunk, and I'm going to do that all day, all night, all day, and I'm going to stink by Friday night, and I don't care, because let's face it, I'm sure you've seen all the recent videos.
Well, I've actually gone as spoiler free as I can. Usually, I'll see like a advertisement or something, but yeah, I'm trying to go in as spoiler free as possible. But yeah, like I think the last full video set I watched was, I think it was the combat one back in August. I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Did I lose you?
I don't know. I lost you. Oh, there it goes. It caught up.
All right. Well, you're still stiff on my screen. I don't know why.
It's catching up. Give it a second.
Oh, yeah, I accidentally alt-tabbed. I'm a moron. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, okay.
We'll give it a second. Am I going to have to do yours again? Probably.
Yeah, at least on my side, I'm still broadcasting on my side, so yeah, if it's...
Oh, I'm broadcasting,
up for you.
and I see myself fine. It's just for whatever reason yours froze. Anyway, so while I fix that... So yeah, what did you think of what you've seen so far?
Like very anticipated. I'm really psyched for it. I know that I always feel like this happens with like almost every game out there, and especially like the popular ones, like this counter current of like got to somehow hate on it or whatever, and like we haven't even seen it yet. But like from everything I'm seeing, like yes, this is what I'm looking for. The most recent, they had a GlitchCon thing a couple of weeks back, and I actually watched that, and they had a Cyberpunk 2077 with Mike Pondsmith, who's one of the creators. They did a role-playing session.
He's the one that made the original one.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And they did like a... Yeah, but it was like an RP session, like D&D, and it was a super blast to actually be able to watch that, and he actually gave a lot of good, like, primer to the
like
universe
the lore
itself.
And stuff. It's a tabletop game I always wanted to play with y'all. I played it back in the day in college. I loved it.
Yeah, this is like kind of my first exposure to it, so it's like it was good to get kind of like that brief and lore. Now, granted, like I think they were playing like a 2066 or something like that. Basically, like one of the previous years, but it's all within the same universe that 2077 will be in. So it was interesting to get like the premise of like like there was like a big nuclear war, kind of like razed a lot of places, and just like how did the current environment get to its current condition. Kind of the state of things that it's like there's no more factories, like but a lot of this tech has survived, so it's a lot of just like making kind of like these you'd have like these containers full of like say cell phones, but none of them would be the newest greatest thing. It would be like something from many years ago, but it's like they were stockpiled around, and so you'd be using kind of like this quasi old tech and making it new and all this other stuff. And it's like it's very, very cool to it already looked cool to me to begin with, and now it's like getting that underpinning of lore. It's like ooh this is good. I like this.
Did they touch on how like Johnny Silverhand, Keanu Reeves' character is like he's from the lore and like he's famous in Cyberpunk lore?
Yeah, he's kind of like this I say figurehead, but not in like a actual leader sense, but kind of a I forget how they describe it. Basically,
like a punk
like
rock
this,
resistance figurehead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, figurehead.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hero. I guess is a better way to put it. Again, he's not like a leader that tells people what to do, but kind of like this icon. Icon is probably the better word I was looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
This counterculture thing, and just like where it came from. Like he was originally like a rocker, and then it's like eventually he came out and it's this counterculture icon, and all this other stuff. So it looks great.
Yeah, oh god, dude, like I had avoided a bunch of stuff for a very long time for the same reason you did, but I was just like, I gotta see something. Like I just gotta see. Like, show me something so that I can at least anticipate what I'm looking for. And I watched a quick it's like a 5-minute video on the customization and the stuff you could do with that, and basically like the character customizer is incredible. That looks awesome. But they also showed how, because, it's a first-person game, and they addressed, a critique I had. I'm like, well, what's the big deal about customizing your character if you're really not going to see them very often?
Sure, yeah.
They actually, you see them in all the cinematics, which is great. They zoom out to the third person, but also, getting into cars, the car driving is all, it could be third person. I believe it could be first person as well. As the first person inside of those things, I saw a video, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
So you can do both views then.
Yeah, and but on a motorcycle, they had one where it was just zoomed out third person. You can completely see your character. I was like, all right, this is pretty dope. Nice. They're striking the right balance there, which is cool. And I mean, everything I'm seeing, I can't wait. I can't wait to play that, dude. It looks ridiculously good. Oh yeah,
it looks awesome. I'm hoping. I'm not. Obviously I didn't. I wasn't on the bandwagon to jump on the 380s immediately. But I'm thinking maybe come January or something, I'm gonna start looking for the card.
Yeah, if they're around.
Because I did see a tech thing real quick and had RTX off, RTX on. Is holy crap, RTX. It's it makes the game look slick.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be a serious card. It's something I'll eventually invest in, I'm sure. But yeah, all right. So we've gotten our Cyberpunk hype. What have you been playing?
so to occupy my time waiting for Cyberpunk to eventually come out, I've actually done a whole bunch of little group games. So we kind of kicked off with Phasmophobia, which we played back.
That was so fucking fun.
It was great, wasn't it?
I have to say, had we not played that, I probably would have passed out around 12:30. Because I was getting tired. We started playing that, and Nick will tell you, we hit the 2:30 mark. I'm like, you guys up for another round? They're like, no.
Let's go for another round. Let's get the shit scared out of us.
They're all like, no, we gotta go to bed. It's like, fuck. And as soon as you guys punched out, I'm like, well, that's it for me then. Because there's nothing that's gonna keep my adrenaline going like that one did.
Yeah, the game still captures. I kind of do it about once or twice a week now. Still running with Krieger and all that. But now on the beta version, they have the newest level, which is the prison level.
What?
And yeah, it is as scary as you think it would be. It looks like a kind of a county lockup type of thing, and it's about the size of the school, I'd say.
Wow! Oh my god! I want to play with you guys again.
Oh yeah, administration building, and then has 2 cell blocks, rows essentially. And yeah, it's just as bad because you're going through it's a maze of work of prison bars and administration stuff, and it's all sorts of nasty.
Oh yeah, you gotta let me know when y'all are playing again. If I can jump on, I would play that again in a heartbeat. I had so much fun. That was
so. There's that. I've been playing some Vermintide 2.
I played that one with you. I liked that one. I haven't played it for quite some time, but I was real into that when that came out.
Yeah, it's a great little hack and slash, in the vein of Left 4 Dead and trying to think if there. I think there's another one, but I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, really great game. They recently released a new class, so I guess when I got into it just recently, they had already released a kind of a I don't know what you call it. It's I don't want to say super class, but kind of a DLC class essentially.
Okay.
And it was like this knight that he's kind of like this holy crusader knight. But they released the most recent release is a dwarf. Yeah, that's right, dwarf engineer, and basically has this like chain gun, steam chain gun, and you're just like, just mowing things down, Jesse Ventura style, like a la Predator type of thing, and it is completely badass. Just a lot of like just great gory, I say gory fun. It's not super gory, but it's like Doom level, I would say. Where you're just mowing down enemies all left and right, and so that's been a complete blast.
Yeah, I remember.
Another. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I remember playing that with Captain Mike and the boys. I played online and I did great with like a bunch of randos. We played and we kept getting attacked by demons with the fart clouds, the fart tornadoes, and just got our asses handed to us. I got to play that again though because I've really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it's a great little like pickup game that you can pick up, put down, very very quickly. It's kind of nice. Doing some Deep Rock Galactic, so dwarf mining of the future.
I think I've got to get in the right group for that. I've tried it a couple of times. Tried it solo. It was not that great. Maybe it's better like with people, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of again, this is probably why I keep playing these. Like, it's always better with like a group of friends. Mm-hmm. So Krieger's here. Yeah, it's like he called out Squad is another one. So Squad is a kind of a Arma / meets, I'd almost say Battlefield 2, kind of like going back to that old school style combat. And surprisingly, when I was playing yesterday, it was actually pretty chill. Like, you don't think like, FPS / combat or whatever is chill, but it's not like Call of Duty level of like twitch reflexes or anything like that. It's you gotta be very methodical about how you move and, stay with the squad and whatnot. And it's kind of like scratching the FPS itch for me, actually.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I haven't really played any FPSs lately. I don't know. I haven't checked out the new Call of Duty or anything like that. I don't know. I'm kind of burnt out on those.
Oh yeah, like I've watched some of the most recent one, and the story seems like okay, but I don't know. It feels, I don't know. I say derivative, almost as derivative as the Black Ops 2? I think was the Vietnam one.
Yeah,
it's kind of that similar, like, ooh, conspiracy theory, boogie 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 boogie. It's like, it feels like kind of the same tones. It's like, this is great for the youngins that want to have their Call of Duties, but it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm too old fogey, man. But it's like I've seen this before. I've seen this. This is a rerun.
That's so funny, but true. I see you're playing Final Fantasy VI. How's that going?
Yes, I finally got to the World of Chaos. Like, it's kind of it's got interrupted with all the holidays and whatnot. Haven't been able to jump back into it.
So you're at the floating island at this point, then?
So just past the floating island. So the world is broken up, and like that's where I got to start like regathering the party essentially after the chaos that happened. Basically, the halfway point of the game. So
did you wait for Shadow?
I did. Well, I'm trying to do as close to 100% as possible. So yeah, that was one of the things. Like, make sure Shadow made it, and you got to wait for him at the very last second. Then he shows up, and then you can jump. Yep. 5 seconds,
dude. No shit. I was playing this through, and I jumped, and they were like, "Oh, what about Shadow?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I reset the Nintendo. So I was actually playing it on the SNES. On my friend George's Super Nintendo. I was like, I'm going through that again. And I went through it all again. And I was like, I'm going to stand here and watch this island blow the fuck up. And I'm standing right at the edge by my ship. I'm like, I'm just going to wait. He's either going to come, and I was actually able to save him, or he's not, and he was supposed to die all along, and I'm going to watch this whole thing blow up in 16 bits. And, it was one of those. I always ask people that, did you wait for Shadow?
Did you wait for Shadow? I'm, like, and more or less I'm kind of going through it with a walkthrough this time because like I've played it so many times and like you can't remember everything.
No, you got to.
So a lot of
it's
like
walkthrough if you're trying to. 100%.
Yeah, it's like especially for like all the little bits and pieces. Like I want to try and make my way to the Coliseum because I think that's one of the things I've never actually fully done. Like I think I've dabbled in the Coliseum. But
that's wicked fun.
But I end up going up on the main story. So this time I'm going to try and get to the Coliseum in the World of Chaos and see if I can't like do those big dragons because apparently those are even like worse than the final fight. So it's like, oh, you know what? I never actually did that.
Yeah, Final Fantasy's been doing that for a while, and they basically kept the tradition going from then on. Like Final Fantasy VII, I don't know if you remember. There's the Ultima weapons, and you could try to fight them. And they're the last one, the red weapon, is way harder than Sephiroth. I've never beaten it. I've tried, but I've never beaten it. Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm really glad you're enjoying it, man. I've said many times that's probably my favorite Final Fantasy.
Hands down, it's always been my favorite and probably number one of the series.
Best soundtrack. I still kick myself to this day that I don't have it anymore. I had the 3 CD Kefka's Domain soundtrack.
Oh man!
And I had it like a year after it came out or so. George actually gave it to me for my birthday.
Oh wow!
And I listened to that. Like that was my writing soundtrack whenever I was writing books when I was younger. Obviously.
Oh sure, yeah, it's perfect.
Much younger. Yeah. And I've been waiting. Oh god, I've been waiting for someone to do like a reprint, maybe do it on vinyl or something. But I don't even have a record player. But it's
suck.
Yeah, somebody will. It'll happen, and I'll buy it again.
Oh
and, go right back to that nostalgia. But it's such a great soundtrack. It's just awesome.
Absolutely. No, yeah.
That's awesome though, man. I'm glad you're rewinding the clock with that one.
Getting the retro in.
I like your note here. I actually have not watched season 2 of Mando yet.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, that's been kind of my. So I recently just finished up watching Man in the High Castle.
What you think?
Oh man, it is such a it's a crazy and it's a good series. Like very thought provoking. They didn't shy away from like any subject with it.
No.
And it was just really compelling and really good. Like I would highly recommend watching it. Had a blast, and then like basically finished that, and then I think it was that Friday, Mandalorian season 2 started coming out. So I don't know, I don't know if you had seen it yet. I don't know how much of our audience has seen it yet. So I'm keeping it light to no spoilers, but I'll just say like you have got to watch Mandalorian. Like if you enjoyed season 1, you're gonna have a blast with season 2. Like there are so many good surprises, and especially if you've watched Clone Wars and or Rebels, and I actually highly recommend if you can go back and watch those at the very least Rebels. Like I'm working my way through Clone Wars right now.
My kids are finally like they're getting into it, like, and it's so funny. I wanted to watch The Last Skywalker. I think that's what it was called, right? The final one.
Yeah.
And so I watched it, but the girls were sitting there watching it with me, and they loved it. And I'm like, you don't even know what's going on, like. I wasn't saying it meanly, but like I was like, okay, and this person, they're like, we love Rey. I'm like, yeah, she's pretty awesome. And but now they are all in on Star Wars. Like I had to get them a Minecraft Star Wars like server.
Okay.
They're totally into it. So yeah, I would like to start watching those maybe even before I do Mando season 2, just because I would love for them to. I've never seen them, so I'm sure I would enjoy watching, Rebels.
Oh yeah, and I kind of watched it a little bit in reverse order. So when season 1 came out of Mandalorian, I watched that, and then I ended up watching Rebels, and it actually filled in a lot of backstory. So the thing is, you can watch Mandalorian, both season 1 and so far of season 2, without needing to have watched Clone Wars or Rebels. What
right,
it will
it just
do,
enhances
though,
the experience because you'll recognize characters.
exactly, it's going to fill in a lot of gaps of like who these people are, what are these places, what are these things happening, and like things that are these little off things that they'll say, and like it'll be filled in by watching these series. At the very least, watch Rebels. I'm still working my way through Clone Wars. Clone Wars is a little bit of a trudge through, I think, at least for the first 3 seasons. It's finally getting good in season 4.
Okay.
And I think that's where they kind of really got their footing and really took off. So it's getting a little better. Like I'll admit it, season 1 through 3 on Clone Wars is kind of, at least as an adult, is a drag. Like kids will probably
as they say.
Yeah, like the kids will probably like it no matter what. But okay. You watching 1 through 3, if it was like me, you're just like, okay, watch the episode. Okay, it was okay. They filled in the little things here, but it's like, but now it's starting to, now it's like getting its footing, and I think that's where they really got good. But at the very least, I'd highly recommend watching Rebels. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Cool.
And it's also kind of the background, because I know Dave Filoni was involved with Clone Wars, but I don't think he was higher up on the ladder until around, I think, when season 4 or 5 started to take place. But for Rebels, he was in charge of I think he was executive producer and or director of Rebels. So the fact that he's now working with Jon Favreau in Mandalorian, it's like you get where this has come from and kind of like that legacy that he's leaving behind as he goes. So and again, a real treat to watch, both from as a Star Wars fan, then also as just kind of like, even from like a cinematic perspective, it's just so well done.
Yeah.
And I almost say like for me, I love behind the scenes stuff, and you'll probably get a kick out of this once you've watched or you can even watch it now, but it's probably a little spoilery.
But they have all the behind the scenes stuff on Disney Plus.
Yeah. For season 1, they have the behind the scenes. Highly recommend watching it, just like their whole process for it, because I think that goes back to the kind of what made Star Wars. I say the special sauce because you go back to like at least the original trilogy. Yeah. And like you're talking and I don't want to say shoestring budget, but it was like very limited budget. The way they were working in the desert and all the locations and whatnot. It's like. Lucas was like on the ropes, and it wasn't until like kind of maybe like Empire Jedi that the studio knew what they had, and they were throwing money left and right. But it's like you go back to like the original Star Wars, and just like the ingenuity that they had to try and come up with, being such a small team. Yeah, and I think that's kind of carried over into how they have approached Mandalorian, because it's a TV show, it's not a movie.
Yeah, it's not getting a big movie budget, although it's probably got a serious one for season 2 now, but.
Oh yeah, like now they know they have something, so yeah, they'll probably start throwing. But it still feels like they've kept that kind of same philosophy to the making of it, and I think that helps what makes it so well, is that they're kind of forced to do these small things without making it super grandiose, and I think it works for them. So
I would agree.
But anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's what made. We've talked about this before, and I have to plug this now because. I just messaged my wife not too long ago today saying, Josh just posted on Facebook that the new Lord of the Rings trilogy in 4K UHD looks amazing.
Yes! I was about to, I knew you would have brought that up. It's like, I bet he's going to bring this up. There's no way he can't.
Nick understands. I own every incarnation of these movie releases since they were in theaters. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite. It's my favorite cinematic thing ever. I love the behind the scenes. Like I will watch those behind the scenes over and over again. Like they are my favorite movie, the behind the scenes, and I love the movies themselves. But yeah, to me, it's kind of like the difference between the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy.
Sure,
It's not saying that the Hobbit trilogy is necessarily bad. It's just. What they did with the original trilogy was so ingenious and so incredible, and it's what allowed it, in my opinion, to hold up. I mean, it's been 20 years, and like you can watch Lord of the Rings, and now I hear it looks like they filmed it yesterday, so I'm like, I need that. But yeah, no, it's from what I understand, like I know with the originals, like. they had to build miniatures and stuff. They couldn't do like massive computer sets, and they did massive computer sets. But it was one of those like they had to like cut where they could to make things look real. And it's like you can watch that today, and like those miniatures, if you watch behind the scenes, like the panning on the Barad-dûr and the mortar tower, like that holds up to this day. Like I challenge anybody, like you can't tell me where that looks fake. Like it looks like a real tower pan. It looks like a real tower. But yeah, so I'm super stoked for those. Yeah, I'm gonna. But thanks for the tip there. I do want to start watching more Star Wars because both of my older girls are really getting into it, and I only want to encourage geekery in this house.
Amen.
I guess back to me, some of the stuff that I've been playing.
Yeah.
Still playing a shit ton of Crusader Kings 3.
Nice.
Up to this point, I still say it's like tied with Hades for my game of the year. I love CK3. Just getting into that like brave heart mindset where it's like, the problem with England is there's not enough Vikings. Like, you can get so into this game from an immersive and emergent gameplay standpoint. I cannot recommend it enough. And if you do want to get into trying it, I'll give you a few mods to throw in there to make it even better.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, the mod community is already huge. They've got a Lord of the Rings one already functional, and it looks amazing.
Oh, of course.
I'm going to give it a little bit. They're doing a Game of Thrones one, and actually, someone's also doing the.
Oh, nice.
Someone's also doing the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, which is a great book series. Way of Kings and I can't remember the first or second novel, but anyway. Yeah, I'm playing a ton of that. I picked up Empire of Sin.
Okay.
The new game by Romero Studios, the Mafia game that they were kind of like everybody was pushing.
Now, this isn't the same studio that made the Mafia games, right? Or
No. This is Romero.
No, it's different. Okay.
Romero Games. John Romero of Doom fame.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's his studio. Okay, gotcha.
Well, yeah, he's part of it, but his wife, I think, is the main driver behind this one. I'm thinking of how I want to say this.
Very carefully.
Well, no, it's hard to say. Is it a good game? Yeah, I like it. Is it going to be a game where I put in 100 hours like I did to Crusader Kings 3? Probably not.
Gotcha.
It's a good game. It's one I'll probably put 30 or 40 into over time. Basically, you pick one of like 15, maybe it's like 12, both real and fictional mafia figures in Chicago during the time of Prohibition. So, of course, you got to start playing as Al Capone. There's, why would you not? But there's a lot of other ones, and there's some really cool fictional ones. There's another one that's actually made up based on John Romero's great-grandmother, which I thought was really super cool.
Interesting.
But it's got a few layers. You've got basically a business management layer, where you have your empire in the city. Here's your businesses. You got to take over breweries to make liquor and then, make booze. But you got to build it up enough so that you can make the product that the neighborhood wants to drink. If you're in a shitty neighborhood, they'll drink, swill. But as they go up, like, you have to kind of move up with the neighborhood. And it's, again, maximizing income versus expense, and that's kind of cool. Like, it's not real deep, which I'm fine with because I don't need to get into that much detail. I could just do that at work. So, like, it's light on that, but it's good enough. And that's where I'd say, like, I guess my complaint comes from is there's 4 systems on this that are pretty light, but altogether they make a good game. You have that side of it, the business side of it. Then you have like the overhead map of the neighborhood, and then you have like your crew, where you're recruiting gangsters, and I'll give the game mad cred for this. Like, each one is very unique. Each one is has their own, like, you'll see all the gangsters that are in the black book that you can hire. And you have to be careful because some hate each other. And, like, you don't want to put them on your team if they hate each other.
Yeah,
I made that mistake, and I lost very quickly because they wound up killing each other in the middle of a mission.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, they're like, why are you making me work with him? And then all of a sudden one guy's like, why are you fucking talking about me? And all of a sudden, like, they just start blasting. They just blasted each other. I'm like, well, there goes that fucking takeover. Yeah, but it's really neat in that, like XCOM, they level up. They get talents. They get skills. If they die, they're gone. Like, so it's got that very XCOM-y feel to it. I was actually really shocked to learn that each one has like a quest or a story that you can help them out with that will increase their loyalty to you. It'll be like, so-and-so, wronged me back in the day, and I want to go after him. I want to find him. And it's like, all right, well, you've been loyal. I'll help you out. And they're like, yeah, one thing. I get to kill him. Like, and it was neat. It was just neat to have that, like, added layer of, like, my henchman. Like, yeah, I just helped you out. And, like, now we're real buds, and you got my back or whatever. Combat is very XCOM-y, so if you played XCOM, you totally get it. You got your move, you got your action, or you can do 2 actions if you don't move, and you got cover. So you got all the tactic basics. There's nothing new. And then you have the next layer, which is like the diplomacy layer and the sit-down layer, which is kind of neat, where it's like, I'll give you an example. I got into a little scuff with the North Side mob as Al Capone. I was fighting the Irish North Side mob. They started casing one of my joints, and then I wound up like, all right, they attacked me. I fended them off, and I was like, all right, let's see what I can do in, 3 nights of game time or 4 nights of game time. I hired another gangster so that I had a team of like 4 real badasses, and I wound up taking over every single racket they had in the neighborhood except for their safe house within like 3 days' time. And then like the news would catch up with them that they lost it. And he's like, hey, you lost that. We lost that business. I want to sit down. I was like, oh, buzz off. Wait till you hear about the rest. And then it's like, wait, we lost that too. And finally it came down to like, they were like, oh, we declare war on you. I was like, okay. I just walked my guys right up to his safe house and stood out on the sidewalk. I was like, I'll take advantage of shit, AI. They came out to scout me out, and I was just like, just like riddle them full of holes. And
nice.
And he's like, we gotta have a sit down, talk peace. Like, all right, what are you gonna give me? He's like, $500. I got nothing. It's like, all right, you just stay in your safe house until I get enough people to take it over. So yeah, there's it has very, very neat moments. Each system is decent. Altogether, makes a good game. I don't know if it's going to hold my interest much past this week. Obviously, with Cyberpunk, it's just
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, like all the game companies, like I can't name it, but I've seen it. Like several games.
Path of Exile was
delayed.
Like, we're just holding off for a month to get the fuck out of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like, yeah, basically they're all steering clear of Cyberpunk. It's like when they got moved back, everyone's like, "Get out of December, go!"
Smart move. And then,
like they realize what's going on.
They're smart, yeah. And then I'll say I played this week thanks to Ubisoft Plus. Immortals Phoenix Rising or Phoenix Rising Immortal.
Okay. Yeah.
Phoenix whatever. That is solid. I just feel bad that it's coming this close to Cyberpunk because I know I'm going to put it down, but
yeah, right. It's
by the team that did Odyssey, AC Odyssey.
Okay.
Graphics are gorgeous. Like if Warcraft evolved with the times, World of Warcraft, and it was like that same kind of very colorful, very beautiful, like imagine that just really, really evolved, like that kind of a color palette. Very, not complex. I mean, the game mechanics, like there's different weapons and different attacks. There's like several different attacks. There's not many. You basically get all your attacks really early in the game. But like the story and the characters are so great I've played a couple hours of this, and like my favorite characters so far are Zeus and Prometheus, and the basic gist is like if watching the beginning is Typhon has escaped Tartarus, the Titan Typhon, and he's gotten most of the gods, gotten most of the Greek gods, either imprisoned them or is like sucking out their power, and like they're powerless to stop him. Zeus flees Olympus to go talk to Prometheus, like, what do we do? Like, and he's like, I don't know, you chained me to a rock and fed me my liver. What do you want me to do? And it turns out, like, Prometheus is telling him the story of how, mortals are going to save us because I know of this one named Phoenix. And that's the character you play. And basically you come over on a ship and you end up on the island of the gods, and your whole crew, you're basically by yourself, and you're like a fanboy, or a fangirl. You could choose to be either one. You're basically like a poet. You're not even a warrior, and it's basically up to you to save the gods. And like the banter back and forth between Zeus and Prometheus as you're playing, because it's like Prometheus is telling Zeus the story, and it happens in like the first 10 minutes, and it's the hardest I've laughed playing a game. But basically there's these things called vaults of Tartarus where they're scattered throughout the world. You find them by doing your like scan, it's like the synchronization thing or whatever.
Okay.
And when you jump in them, you get a new weapon or a new skill, but like you have to jump in them and you have to solve a bunch of puzzles, and then you get the weapon or item at the end. But when you go into the first one, Prometheus is like, Phoenix stared down into the fiery pit, wondering whether or not she should jump. And I was like, I'm going to jump. And I jumped in, and Zeus was like, and that was the end of the game. And the credits come up, and it's like designed, and it's like designed by Zeus, produced by Zeus, playtester Prometheus.
So I guess quasi like Stanley's Parable, where it kind of narrates your gameplay as you're going along.
Kind of, yeah, and it doesn't take itself super seriously. It's a really, really funny game. I was shocked at how funny the writing was in this game. It's solid. It's a really solid title. And again, if you don't want to spend a bunch of money, grab an Ubisoft Plus subscription and get the Ultimate Collector version of that to play. Play some Watch Dogs Legion. I'm still having a blast with that. I forgot to write that down. I'm still enjoying the hell out of that. I'm about 65% through that game. Very good game. But
okay.
But yeah, Immortals Phoenix Rising is really solid. I was playing that too. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. A lot of Crusader Kings 3, a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Valhalla is a lot of fun. Probably getting close to the halfway point on that one too. But yeah, that's the one I think I'm going to focus on. I really want to beat that before Cyberpunk hits, because that is all I'm going to be playing.
Right.
It just looks so good.
Oh yeah, like I can't wait. Can't wait to jump in.
Yeah. Other than that, we'll go on to some release highlights. We talked Empire of Sin. We talked Cyberpunk. Mars Horizon, I told you about this earlier in the week.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this.
Yeah, I think you'd really like this one. It's a space program management kind of tycoon, but I hate using that label because then everybody thinks it's like immediately silly. And it doesn't come across as like cartoony in any fashion. I guess I think because I had mentioned it, but I take it more from the fact of like you're controlling aspects of the space agency itself, like you're basically choosing. You basically choose one of X space agencies. You can be NASA, you can be the Soviet program, you can be Japan, you can be like a European coalition, and we have Tyler Mugg. What's up, Tyler Mugg? I'm sorry, I haven't been checking chat. But hey, what's going on? Thanks for coming to hang out. But yeah, you can basically each one has like different bonuses, different benefits, and you basically start at the beginning of the space program in 1950.
Oh, wow, okay.
To where you build your first test rocket, you launch your first test rocket. You might succeed, you might fail. If you fail, you get some experience, and you try it again. And then you have like a research component where you're researching different things. You have a base building, or a building component where you're actually building out the buildings for like research labs and all that stuff. And then like you take on a mission. Like your first mission will be like your first big one is to launch an artificial satellite. So it's like, all right, can we beat the Soviets to Sputnik? Who launched Sputnik first? And it's like you do the research, you build, the stages. Like you build the first stage and the second stage rockets, and the first stage and the boosters and all that stuff, and then you build the prototype of the satellite, and then when you launch it, there's like a mini game once it's up in space to where you're running like tests. You do like diagnostics, you do space to ground comms, and like based on a dice roll and some percentages, you might get it, you might not. You spend a little extra power. Like it's like that. It's not overly complicated or anything, but it's really fun. And I just love like when you're scheduling a launch, whether it's for the satellite or like the lunar program or just a rocket test or something. Like you have to schedule it in the launch windows, and they give you like the optimal, suboptimal, like not even a fucking question. You're not launching during this time. It's just horrible conditions. You can launch it. Like I launched during like it looked like a hurricane in the game, and I managed to get in the air and got out. But it was cool. Like you just saw it sitting on the pad, and it's like conditions are shit. You lose 15%, success rate. You want to reschedule this? I'm like, nope, we're going ahead. And it's like 5, 4, and you see it blasting off, and it's doing like all the calculations. Like, do you blow up right after you get off the pad? Do you blow up in the air? Or you might actually get up. Or you might get up and you might have like blew a transistor or something, and you lose.
Yeah, something goes along the way.
Something like some of the science bonus you would have gotten or whatever. But it's solid. For you specifically, like, I don't know many people who are space geeks like me and Nick.
Oh, yeah.
But you highly recommend Mars Horizon because it's basically you start the space program and go all the way up to the 20-somethings to land on Mars.
Gotcha, okay.
It's really cool. I will probably be playing that a bunch off and on. Like, it's great between, like, my lunch break or something. It's a great 10, 15-minute distraction, between...
Quick little pickup thing?
It's a great pickup game. You'll love it.
Nice.
And then a new one I picked up yesterday and was just messing around with, but I'm finding surprisingly interesting and addictive. It's called Per Aspera. I don't know if you've heard of this.
It sounds familiar.
It's a Mars terraforming game, like kind of Factorio.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it like I guess it hit its full release or whatever, but it's really chill. Like the story is really cool in that like you're an AI that they've basically...
Yeah.
Okay, I played an hour or two of this last night, and I'm like,
okay, I
gotta see where this goes. Like I'm not really good at these builder games, but it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's stupid proof, but like I get it. Like I see if I put this here, it's not going to work as well. And this is going to be an industry, so these three things need to be close to each other. It's cool. It's really cool. And like I'm in the very early stages right now where it's like the lander has landed. It had a bunch of parts and components to where I could at least start building up the industries with AI, robots, and drones. And, like, your first thing is that you're setting up the base to be, like, AI self-sufficient with factories and mines and stuff like that to prepare for the first colony or for the first manned mission. Then I haven't gotten this far yet, but then apparently the manned mission gets there. And then it's about getting that base set up and making sure it's a bit, habitable. And then it's like, okay, now how do we turn this into fucking Earth 2? And like I've seen screenshots of like late game because you can zoom out and see the entire planet of Mars, and it's actually like mapped out, like they've mapped it out in databases and stuff, and it's like, oh, here's Terra something or other, like like
Right.
it's labeled on a map of Mars somewhere, I'm sure. But like you see in the late game screenshots, all of a sudden there's like this whole part that has like a forest and like lakes. It's like, ooh, that's kind of interesting.
Ooh.
Like that's really neat. So I'm definitely gonna keep playing that. It's very interesting. It's called Per Aspera. I don't know if it's on anything else but PC right now. You can get it on Steam. Really dig it, and having fun with that.
I think I have it on my wish list for that. Yeah, because it like caught my attention. Obviously also with the Expanse season 5 coming out at the end of the month. It's like yes, or end of the month. Yeah, we're in
I
December.
really need to get into the Expanse. I'm not into it. I got to sit down and actually watch it.
Oh, it's another good series.
I'm just making a note here. Okay, done. The next point. Feel free to go ahead and take that. I'm just going to make a quick change.
Yeah. So I know we laud it here, but it's still heavily proving its worth. The Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Game Pass, whatever you want to call it, like ton of games coming out. They released a whole slew of stuff just in the past like couple weeks. There's more on the way. Apparently, they're teasing some really.
There's something big coming this week.
Yeah, like they haven't. They've been teasing it, but we don't know what it is. But like something big is coming to the Xbox Game Pass, and I think it's supposed to be this week. They're either revealing it or something like that.
Yeah, there's something big coming this week.
So we may have something to talk about next time. But yeah, so keep your ear to the ground on that. Obviously, like in most recently, they added Dragon Quest 11 to the subscription list. So that's like, yes, that's caught my attention. Doom Eternal. I'll probably get around to just checking that. I never picked it up. I've been too much into like the Doom games since like Doom 3, I think. But it's like, oh, you know what? It's part of the subscription. Yeah, it's like I'll install it, play it. Yeah, exactly. It's perfect for Game Pass. Final Fantasy VIII Remaster is in there. So kind of like part of my Final Fantasy VI playthrough as I'm going through, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just kind of like do Final Fantasy VI here, and then maybe I'll get around to picking up 7, the new version, the remaster for that. I think
that's only on PS4 though, right?
No, it's on PC now.
Is it on PC now?
Yeah, it should be released on PC. I think it's available through Steam. I think I have to double check. And then the Final Fantasy VIII remasters out there, and then I'll probably get around to getting maybe just do like 9, and then see where I go from there. Because 9 was like the last Final Fantasy that I played. Like after that, nothing really drew my attention anymore. With like 10, 11 was the MMO. 12, I think 12. There were 12X or 12X2.
No, you're thinking of 10, 10-2.
Like all that, like it's like it's just like it was beyond me at that point. It's like, okay, Final Fantasy took a weird turn.
12 was good. I'd highly recommend
12 was good.
12.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 was great. 9 I loved. 9 was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, 9 was like the last one that I really truly enjoyed. It kind of went back to that classic,
very classic Final Fantasy from Nintendo feel.
Classic Final Fantasy.
Like the little black mages and stuff. Like
Vivi was the mage, and it kind of had that look to it. It's just like it had that classic feel, and then they kind of went more new age, and felt like the old man on the porch waving his cane, like get out of here, you crazy kids.
I follow you. Like it was kind of jarring going into that like different, but I will say 15 was really really good.
15 was good. Okay.
15 is great. But I did not like 13. Final Fantasy VIII has an odd place for me. I've never beaten it. I never came close to beating it because they decided, in my opinion, one of the stupidest gameplay decisions I have ever seen, which was, and a lot of games that do this piss me off when they're role-playing games, but the monsters level up with you.
Yes. I remember that was the thing. Like you couldn't over level the monsters. Like they're always tuned to wherever you are.
Motherfucker in the beginning of the game, because of this one boss fight, and it just got harder to impossible. And I was like,
yeah.
And then I read that online because like the internet was around at that point. I'm like, they level with you. I was like, fuck this game. Like,
can't get over it. What? Yeah,
no.
because that's what I did with my Final Fantasy VI playthrough. Is that I let it run. There's a river section where you can just send it into a loop.
Oh yeah. When you're going down the river with Bannon and the Resistance. Yep.
Exactly. And so, like, I do that like on all my plays. Like, I didn't do it like I think my first playthrough, back in the day on the actual SNES. But like ever since then, like, it's like, okay, I know that section, like I can just auto level my things. So it allows me to actually like enjoy the story and just simply play through without having to worry about like, spending time to actually level. I just let it sit there 2 days and, I'm at a decent level that nothing can really kick my butt.
Yeah.
There's arguments like, okay, no challenge. Like, why would you play? Well, like Final Fantasy VI has a strong enough story that it can, it entertains me without needing to, fight every monster along the way.
Well, and my counter argument to that has always been the challenge of a really good Final Fantasy game is getting to the point where you can enjoy the later game without too much challenge. Like, that in itself is a challenge to get those levels.
Yeah.
And, like,
absolutely
build up your characters and stuff. And to me, like, that's where the grind used to be fun. Like, MMOs kind of missed that point where it was just like, oh, we're just going to keep making you grind, and here's a carrot. Oh, it got to be quicker than that. Like, it's like where, I don't know, like games that, for me, that just, it always worked. And as long as I could put in that time, and it would show like, hey, it was like, that was your montage. Take it to the limit. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So... Yeah, Final Fantasy VI is great in that regard, but yeah, I mean,
it's an interesting design thing that I think was coming out during that time when RPGs it always felt like every RPG up to that point was always like, yeah, you could over level. Like if you spent the time and ground, just spend your time grinding, no matter what. Obviously, 6 gives you a very easy option to other RPGs. Maybe there's other secret levels that do things like that. But it was always a case of like, yeah, you could get over like almost any monster if you leveled long enough.
Yeah, if you put in the time.
Yeah, but I feel like that was like, when was that? That was
it's a great 2000s. Life lesson back in the day.
Yeah, it was the 2000s, I think, when 8 came out. But it was around that time where, like, specifically with RPGs, but I think, other games started to do the same thing where it's like, yeah, you could get to a point where it's like, no, we're not going to let you do that because I guess their intent was like, yeah, the final boss should really feel epic. Like, it shouldn't be, a cakewalk because you spent, 10 million hours, like, leveling yourself or whatever. It's like, no, you're now brought down to the level that we want it to be, to make it scary or whatever. It's like,
But I would argue it's also where Final Fantasy VI did it right. Like,
sure.
That final boss fight, I don't care how fucking leveled you are. That's a hard boss fight. It's 20 minutes long.
It's still a hard fight. Obviously, it's made easier if you're like level 99, but like, yeah, because I think part of it is like he's chucking around I think it's Doom and Death, which are like insta kills. And then a whole bunch of other stuff that just like, it does like 50% of your health, which is significant. Like at that point, it's like, okay, no, amount of potions are going to get you back up there, and maybe like a cure 3. Yeah, we'll kind of restore that. But you're in serious trouble if you start taking the wrong kind of hits.
It's a hard boss fight. Like that's to me is like how you can make up for that. But,
sure.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Gears Tactics is actually pretty good.
Yeah, like I remember, like I think you picked that up when it first came out earlier this year.
Yeah,
think, right?
It was out on PC first on PC Game Pass.
Yeah. So so that's made it to the Game Pass now. And yeah, then again, we talked about like they're teasing something big. There's already some slated for that they've already put dates on that I don't think are part of like the big series of releases, but they're still releasing next week. So one of them was the Call of the Sea.
Why does that sound so familiar?
We saw that at the kind of, I say the summer events, but like the digital E3 and all that kind of stuff we saw during the summer.
Oh, yes.
And it drew my attention. I think we talked about it. Like, it's one of those like, oh, this made my list. So now it's coming out, and it's like kind of like this adventure. I think it's a puzzle game.
Yep,
like,
adventure video game. Yeah.
It's real hard to describe it, but it's intriguing me. So it's like, I like the art style. It's some kind of an adventure mystery game. So it's like,
yeah, it feels
sign
like
me
a
up.
Sierra game. The game does not feature a combat system, and players progress in the game by solving various puzzles. The game is set in the 1930s, and players assume the control of Nora, who must explore an island set in the southern Pacific to find her husband, who has gone missing after embarking on an expedition.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah, it kind of has this
great.
almost 1930s Indiana Jones
like
feel
Laura
to
Bow, if you remember the old Sierra games.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Exactly
sure.
that. So yeah, so it's made my radar. I'll probably check it out when it comes out. The other one was Greedfall. I think you had played this game.
Played this
I think
on
we had
PC?
talked about it. Yeah.
I might give this one another try at some point.
And I can't remember because you were it felt like I want to say you were kind of meh on it when it first came out, but I can't remember why.
I was meh on it. It was kind of buggy. It was interesting, but the story hadn't really snagged me. But I had read some stuff after playing it, and people were saying, "Nah, give it a shot. Like, play it through." So I'll give it another shot for sure. I'm not gonna poo-poo it. And if it's on Game Pass, why not?
No, like I don't remember you slamming it. It was just more like, it was okay.
It was all right. Well,
but it's made my radar. But again, this will all have to wait.
Yeah, everything's gonna have to wait.
It's like until I beat Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's gonna take up my life for the next few months.
I know, right?
All right, let us get on to news, because holy crap. What a week in news it has been. The big ones I saw on this week on Twitter. I follow Mark Darrah. I've been following him for a long time. I hadn't really been following news much, just with everything going on in the past week with like family stuff, and I saw he announced he was leaving Bioware. I was like, what the fuck? And then I saw the news broke, like he and Casey Hudson left. And I was like, oh, well, that's bad.
And to clarify, this is for those who don't know, they're executive producers, I think, at BioWare.
Casey is the general manager of BioWare.
Yeah.
And then Mark Darrah was an executive producer, I believe, on Dragon Age 4. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Casey Hudson Casey Hudson was a big driver behind Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Alm, which is one of the best games ever made. The first 3 Mass Effects. He's got a hefty resume. He left BioWare. I want to say it was like mid 2010s, and then came back.
Yeah, they brought him back for, was it Anthem? I think they brought him back.
Well, I think they brought him back for Dragon Age 4. Like, that's how long this game has been in development.
Okay.
And he left again. Along with Mark Darrah, who has been the big... Like, you can think of Casey Hudson as, like, Baldur's Gate and Mass Effect, and Mark Darrah is the big Dragon Age, creator. And seeing that the two of them have left in the same week...
That's big, and considering like I mean, look, kind of again looking with hindsight a little bit here. When I think it was the EA, summer, the digital summer event, or whatever. They had like they were announcing Dragon Age 4, but there was no gameplay. It was all like these are the people working on it.
Here's some concept art.
Concept
You
art.
and I were talking about that. We're like, they're just here's who's working on it.
That's really weird. We've never seen it's not uncommon, but it's not exactly a common thing to do when you're trying to debut something that big. Like usually, it'll be like the new IP will be like, oh, here's some concept art of things we're working on. It's like, oh, okay, get you psyched for the new game.
Yeah, but at this point,
this is Dragon Age 4. Years. Yeah, it's like we kind of get more or less the feel of Dragon Age. So it's like, why are we getting all this? And now this is happening. It's like, ooh, pump the brakes.
I'm as optimistic as you can get in most situations. I will be very surprised if Dragon Age 4 sees the light of day. I don't see it.
Or if it does, it's gonna be
An Anthem level
Andromeda
shit show.
Fest essentially. It's gonna be Andromeda all over again.
Or Anthem, either way.
Or Anthem, yeah.
I don't have a lot of hope. It sounds like it's had a couple of resets already,
which never bodes well.
Not usually. I mean, there are times where that kind of works out, but it can work out. But no, it's not usual. And so they've already had a couple of resets, and now you have basically the two main people that I think were working on. Although I think Casey was working on, like you said, the new Mass Effect game.
That brings that into question too. Is like, okay, one, Andromeda failed, wholeheartedly, and then Anthem petered out pretty badly. Now, granted, that's not a Mass Effect thing, but it's like, okay, what hope do we have of the new Mass Effect game now out there? It's like, what is it's just Bioware in general. I mean, we've been kind of saying like EA since EA took over, it's the usual, just like they're just driving I feel like they're driving it into the ground, and just like the good creativity just doesn't exist anymore.
I agree. I mean, like, people like to shit on Microsoft, but like, and I'm not just saying this on the personal connection, but like Microsoft bought, Brian Fargo's studio. I can't think of the name of it now. In Exile. They did Bard's Tale 4 and the fantastic Wasteland 3. And like, Wasteland 3 is fucking awesome.
It's fantastic. Like, I had a blast playing that game. Like, they like, I don't know if they turned it around or just they were allowed it to do its own thing without, interfering.
Yeah, no clue, but I can just say, like, it's not always a bad thing when a big company would buy somebody like that, but let's face it, EA's track record is shit. And,
I seriously think it boils down to, like, how many cooks are you putting in the kitchen, essentially?
Yep.
I mean, we kind of see this, I think, with even movie franchises type of thing, where it's like, when there's too many in the kitchen, it ends up making just,
how many
crap
salesmen
souffle.
are you putting in the kitchen?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
right
if you understand them, and they, that, the director and or producers can, they have the vision, they understand it, like, let them be, like, let them run with that vision. Don't try and insert your other stuff, because, like, I think as soon as that starts happening, it starts going down this toilet.
Yeah, I have no hope for it, I'll be honest with you. I think it's dead in the water. But we'll see. We could be wrong and pleasantly surprised. If that happens, I'll shave my head. So there it is. And let's see. Activision Blizzard is suing Netflix over poaching executive Spencer Neuman, Chief Finance Officer. This is interesting. The article that Kotaku wrote is just so funny. According to Activision's lawyers, Neuman started working at the Call of Duty factory in May 2017. Oh, Ari noticed. That was awesome. That should be on a fridge somewhere. Activision is asking for a permanent injunction, basically a court order that says you can't do that anymore against Netflix. Basically,
well, I wonder. Like, I mean, I understand the concept of poaching, but it's like Netflix doesn't have anything to do with gaming. Like,
it's a really weird lawsuit. I mean, I guess from their standpoint, he's not a game designer; he's a CFO.
Oh, so just moving into another CFO position, I guess.
I don't want to take my guy with numbers.
I guess, yeah. It's always weird how they handle that.
According to his lawyer, the Activision lawyers, he started working on the Call of Duty factory in May 2017. Contract set to lapse in April of this year. Game publisher retained the right to extend that by one further year to Netflix wooed him in late 2017 or 2018. Job lasting merely a year and a half might be a corporate faux pas. But it's a contract violation. Okay. Well,
okay.
No, that could go either way.
Do we need to prepare for Netflix microtransactions?
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ! It worked for us at Activision. Call me Whiskers.
Buy this movie DLC. It's called a sequel. No, it's DLC.
You want to see the next 5 minutes? You got to get the extra 5 minutes.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
It's gonna happen. Ugh. Let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody that came and hung out during Extra Life, and to all y'all that donated. Thank you, Nick. Thank you to many others. I did reach my $500 goal the next day.
Rock on.
It was great. I'm really appreciative. I wound up getting actually to $750 by the time the next day was said and done. Yeah, I was so happy, dude. That was awesome. Super awesome. Thank y'all. I love you. Appreciate the donations. And really, Nick, big thank you to you, Krieger, and the rest of the crew for playing Phasmophobia with me till 2:30. I wound up showing a clip of that to one of my teams at work that I work closely with, and we're all buds. We kind of have like a random question at the end of our weekly that's like nothing to do with work, and I'm like, "Yo, you all want to see a recently new acquaintance's wife scare the shit out of him while playing a ghost game?" And the best was one of my teammates was like, "I just played this game last night, and I don't want to play it no more. It really scared me."
It's great. Like that's the thing. It's like every time I play, like you're thinking like, oh, it's like I'm just gonna get used to it. The scares aren't gonna get me more. Nope.
Nope.
The fear is shifted. Like it's like the first like 30 seconds after going in the door, it's like it's not bad. It's like okay, gotta place all these things. Doodle. But yeah, every time it does like the hisser at me or whatever, it gets me every single time. It's like nope, I'm out. I'm done.
I love it. Oh, that's great shit. Let's see. Oh, this one's yours. This next one, very interesting.
Yeah, so kind of a blend of our movies and games, and I think this has been out there for quite a while. There's been rumors of a Metal Gear Solid movie being made by Sony, I think it is. But now supposedly Oscar Isaac is being slated to potentially play Snake.
That is fucking genius.
And for those who don't know, Oscar Isaac, he played Poe Dameron in the Star Wars series. He's playing, I think he's playing, what is it, Atreides in the new Dune movie, I think.
I think so.
He's been in several other films, and I think he'd be a pretty decent, like it may be like a young Snake for sure, like definitely not like an old Snake. But I think it could work.
I think he could play both with simple makeup. He's just very fucking versatile.
Oh, yeah, true.
Very versatile actor. Actually, you just brought up a really good news thing I missed. Or I forgot to put on here. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to... Warner Brothers. That's it. I'm not even going to put the point in. There was a huge news bomb this week that Warner Brothers is, for every movie that is slated in 2021, of which Dune is one of them...
Oh, yeah.
Are releasing simultaneously on HBO Max at the same day of their theater release.
At no extra charge.
No extra charge. I have
which
HBO
is
Max.
a big thing. Because I will say, like, obviously, the Mandalorian's on Disney and, all that stuff. But, like, when I saw that they were releasing Mulan, it's like, okay, figured, it's like, okay, they're releasing a stream. I was like, oh, great, I'm going to be able to watch it. No. You had to pay like extra $30 on top of your subscription altogether just to be able to watch it. I'm like, hell no, thank you. I'll stick to the subscription, yes, but I'm not going to pay extra to just watch a movie on at $30. Like that's the thing. Like that's not a movie ticket.
That's more than a movie ticket. Go fuck yourself.
2, maybe 3 if you got the matinee type of thing. It's like no. So it was very pleasing news to see that. If you have HBO Max and several people I've talked to, it's like it's part of like either a cable subscription or whatever, bundled in. It's like it's going to be as part of the subscription, no extra cost on top. It's like so that. Dope. That is the way to go.
Dope.
And yeah,
because it's like if you don't have it, that is a perfect justification to get it. They got a decent slate coming out for 2021.
Oh,
I would get it alone. Like I would get it just for Dune. But on top of that, like HBO Max is 1,000 times better than HBO Go used to be, or HBO Now, or whatever they had prior. They got the rights to so much shit, so many movies. Aside from HBO series and HBO movies and productions, they got all of Sesame Street, like every single episode that was ever produced. I get it. If you don't have kids, that's not a big deal. But if I want my kids to see how the hell Snuffleupagus came about, I
Yeah,
can
I
do
mean,
that.
it's great content programming for kids. Like, I don't know, it's just like, again, this could be like the old man in me today. It's like whenever I see like kid shows today, it's like, what is this? Like, am I not just not remembering things anymore? But then like I turn on like an old Sesame Street, like, no, there was something in the old ones that is nowhere to be seen in any new cartoon or whatever, kids programming today. Like,
No, no, absolutely. And like my youngest and all my kids when they were little loved Sesame Street. So it was cool to like feed that for a while.
yeah.
And but yeah, no, there's a ton of other stuff. Like I'm forgetting there's so much great stuff on HBO Max. Like I think they have all of TCM, like all the Turner Classic movies. Like
So is Max what Go used to be, or is it
yes.
a separate thing from Go?
No, if you had HBO Go or HBO Now, it just upgraded to that.
Okay.
Highly, highly, highly recommend it. There's so much content on there. Like I haven't even had near enough time to see it all. Like there's a ton of stuff. Like I'd say easily 5 times the content of what used to be on HBO Go or HBO Now. It's nuts.
And there was still a lot of stuff, like from what I recall. Like
yeah,
when I switched, dropped my cable, I lost the bundle with that, so I don't watch that HBO anymore. But yeah, that basically with what's happening with Warner Brothers, and then again, like you said, like just the huge back library, it makes it compelling, for picking it back up again, at least for next year.
Yeah, it's totally worth the $15 a month. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the game of the month. I'm not even going to waste a breath. The game of the month is going to be Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
And we expect you all to play it. We expect to hear everybody's... somebody just jumped.
If you can't play it, play some Witcher.
I don't know who this was. Somebody just jumped on to say, I just shit myself. I thought it was a fart. Sorry, I need to leave for a bit to wipe my stanky ass.
Sounds like a troll.
That's fine by me. Welcome aboard. But yeah, so we're all going to play Cyberpunk. And I can't wait to hear what everybody thinks of it. We will now move on to the question of the bye week. And this
I think that was last week's. Do we have a new
that
one?
is. Well, it was kind of like last minute. Not last minute. But I basically said favorite video game soundtrack and Go, and I got a lot of good feedback on that. So we'll read that from the save point.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I did respond to that. I didn't realize that was the question.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I took it. And we got a bunch of good feedback from that. And then we do have some voicemails, just random voicemails that I did not get to play. We're actually going to start with one that's actually a couple months old, just because we had some problems when we tried to play this the first time, and I never got around to it. And I love this guy to death, and I just wanted to get his response to a previous question of the bye week we had, which was, when you play a game, do you play as a good guy, or do you play as a bad guy, why, etc. And this is from our pal Los, former host of the Future Monkeys podcast, and just one of the coolest, greatest individuals I've met. He's a good dude. And he always has good stuff. So here's Los's voicemail on that question.
So my kid, my oldest, on the other hand, he loves being the bad guy. He's always loved the bad guy. I feel like I need to be careful because like I could totally see like, you know, Kylo Ren, Han Solo situation when we get older, and I'm not looking forward to it. But you know, that's something I got to work on with him. But yeah, it was a good question, and I figured I'd answer it, give you guys a call, and yeah, just hope everything is good. Hope everything is gravy, and gravy's coming. Almost Thanksgiving. Okay, all right. Peace out.
Peace out, Los. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I
So,
just realized
here-
I'm going to have to do some input jockeying for whatever reason. I think I got my inputs mixed up. So they probably only caught half of Los's message based on my audio mixer feed.
Oh, well, I heard it all on my side, so.
Okay. Well, anyway.
And then from my chat, Battlefield soundtrack 100% Battlefield 1 Flight of the Pigeon is a great track from Courageous Curry.
Oh shit. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Sorry. So we got two things going. Yeah, I would agree. Like, I'd say the Battlefield 1 soundtrack was actually pretty decent to listen to. Like, I think the newest DLC actually has some decent one. I think it's like Apocalypse has some decent tracks. So I can't name it off the top of my head, but I remember listening to it's like Amazon Music List or something, and it came up and like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
No, that's a great a great sound. I'm trying to remember. Was it Battlefield 5? I thought I had a pretty good one too. I don't know. Those games generally have a really good soundtrack to them, anyway.
Yeah, like pretty decent setup and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty solid. Let me think here. All right, let me go through. Let's go through the save point. Actually, no, we got one more voicemail from Uncle Fred. I'll make sure this one comes through at the beginning instead. Now that I know where I fucked up, I can just do a quick switch. We may not hear Nick during the call, but we'll hear him right after. This is from Fred French, and it could be about anything, and that's why we love him. So I'm going to switch this over, and then we will hear from Fred French.
I'm back. What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on? I know I dropped off face of the earth there, and I apologize, but like I said on the Bad Fodder Figures, I don't know if everybody listens to that or not. You should, because it's a great show. But if you don't, I'll just tell you a little thing here. So, what I did, social media got filled with nothing but hate, negativity, and everything, and it was all over everything. I mean, I understand people get riled up over the election, but my goodness, before these new consoles came out, they were like killing each other. Xbox sucks, PlayStation sucks, blah 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 blah. So I just kind of like took a break. I just kind of like jumped off the cliff and left social media behind. I just took a break. So, but I'm back. You know, I cleared my head. I'm feeling better. I'm doing good. You know, I'm not as insane as I used to be. I think I'm a little bit more sane than I used to be insane. So I'm doing good now, and I'm back on social media. I'm just choosing to ignore the negativity, you know, because I'm just, you know, let's uplift each other and be positive. You know, the world's crazy as it is. We don't need to tear each other down anymore. But anyway, I'm back, gentlemen, and hopefully you guys are doing great yourself. So the question of the week, I believe it was video game soundtracks, music or something like that, I believe. I forget. You know, I read these things and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. And yeah, I don't remember everything I read anywhere. But if that's what it is, and I'll bet my money that's what it is, because that's what I'm going with. I have to let you guys down because I don't have any. You know, my kids, which, you know, they're young adults, but of course they're my kids. They'll always be my kids no matter how old they are. But anyway, they think I'm nuts because they talk about soundtracks and video games and how much they like the music, and I'm like, wait, there was music in there? They're like, well, you played the game, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, did you have the volume down? I'm like, no. And they're like, you didn't hear that music? And I'm like, no, not really. And I go back and I like watch something on YouTube or something, get a clip of the game, and I'm like, yeah, there is music playing there. I don't, for whatever reason, it seems like when I play games, I'm so involved in the game or something like that that, I mean, I guess I know there's music there, but it doesn't like stick out to me. I mean, I guess I'm just insane. Huh? How about it? Really, is anybody else out there like that? I'd be curious to know because, you know, like I said, I'm not going to say there isn't music there, but it it just doesn't stand out to me for whatever reason. I guess I don't know, but I play a lot of shooters though too. You know, so I'm like all that kill, fire, boom, 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 bam, bam, bam. You know, that's me. So maybe that's why the music doesn't set up.
That would be why the translation totally messed up on Google.
Headshot, blew up with a grenade, yeah, this other stuff. You know, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just nuts. But anyway, check it in again, guys. We're back on a schedule. Let's keep the calls going, rolling, and the show's mowing and going. Hope you guys, I guess I did say hope you're doing good. Well, I hope you're doing great. How about that? So, anyway, gentlemen, I'll catch you next time. Sorry I didn't have a better answer for you, but as always and always and always, arrivederci.
Oh my God! How can you not love Fred? I don't know. Like, I'm really taken back by this. And Fred, don't take this the wrong way. I fucking adore you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're just weird. Like, I like, to me, bad music in a game is the first thing that'll take me out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, it will make me just done. Like, and it makes it really hard for me to enjoy it. I mean, a lot of the 8-bit games back in the day, some had great, really good chiptunes. Some were just utter shit, and it just made if the game was bad, it just made it that much worse.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I find that really interesting, Fred, and I'm sure you're not the only person in that regard. I mean, I'm sure there's other people that don't, get into the soundtracks like, say, me or Nick do. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you, but no, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. No, it's that really is interesting though. So let's see. Let's go, because we did get a lot of great answers.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of answers here
on the save point. So let me jump over there, and we'll read some of these. This was really cool. There's Eric dressed as Animal, I think it was, or Hawk. That's great. 39 comments. Jesus. Okay. All right, Nick. Divide and Conquer. Adam Wilson
All right.
posted a GIF of two people kissing. Is that To the Moon? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what game they're referring to. Like, it looks familiar, but I can't call it. Like, an announcement or Nintendo. It's a Nintendo game.
Yeah, it's about all I know. I'm sorry, guys. Next time, put a title.
Put a title with your GIF.
Sorry, fellas. The next one was mine. I'll just read it now. I know we normally save those for last. But I will always say mine's probably a 4-way tie, because these 4 are fantastic soundtracks. I highly recommend any of them. Final Fantasy VI, which we already talked about. I already even talked about having the 3-CD soundtrack for it back in the day. Chrono Trigger, immediately up there.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best of all time. Betrayal at Krondor for PC. Had a phenomenal soundtrack on the CD version. It was actually like 64 tracks long, but some of those were, short ditties that they would play when you were in a certain part of the wilderness, or it would queue up a track, like if you were playing a lute in the tavern or something. That's just how they did it back then. Like, the audio tracks on the CD would just supply the music to the game. But a phenomenal soundtrack. And then Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire has a phenomenal soundtrack, with that being a role-playing the Baldur's Gate style piratey game. So that's got a great one to it as well. Jesus Christ.
I said get out of my head, because my go-to, probably best soundtrack would be the Final Fantasy 6/3, and actually I think it repeats itself. Kurt Sofner called out Final Fantasy 3, at least in the USA, so again, kind of echoing that.
Yep.
I'd say I'll interject, because I'll probably have, I would have realized I don't think I actually put an answer to after that. Yeah. But as a follow-up, I would say the Civilization series by Christopher Ten.
Yes.
Probably a little biased, again, because I got to go see Signa di Valere, part of the To Shiver the Sky album being recorded at Abbey Road Studios. Plug.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm glad I bought that too. I love that soundtrack.
Oh, it's so good. But Kyle Shirk, MM2. What is MM2?
Kyle, our old co-host.
Mega Man? Mega Man 2?
Mega Man 2, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a great one.
They had reminds me of PAX. I think this PAX East they had a band that was doing the Mega Man 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Mega Man series as a whole. It was like a kind of a I don't want to say death metal. I don't think it was that extreme, but kind of like rock metal.
It was like a rock / metal version of it. It was cool.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
SOR2.
SOR 2.
No idea. It's probably something obvious, but I'm missing it.
Yeah, it was like, that's the problem when you start using abbreviations all the time. It's like, what is alphabet soup? Now, obviously, the next one, Final Fantasy VII, agree.
Yeah,
again,
great soundtrack.
Really, any of the Nobuo Uematsu soundtracks, like 6 is way up there, 7 is another great one.
Yeah, they're
but
all
really
great.
like his entire lineup, like really fantastic.
They're really great. Tom said original Gangster Tiberium Sun. I totally agree. That was a fantastic
yeah, the classic
soundtrack.
kind of like was it Kloss something, right? Oh,
yeah,
dang it.
Kloss. It's escaping me too. Shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna cheat.
Alan Ludwig with East Origin. That's a great one. Near Gestalt, very good. Mega Man X, very good. Buddy John with Final Fantasy 3 or 6.
Frank Klopacki. Frank Klopacki was.
Wow, we were both way off. Shit.
Yeah, we were way off. But yeah, well, again, I'd say all of the Command & Conquer because it had this kind of like techno, kind of like that 90s sound to it. It was really, really good. And again, like I'd say like Red Alert and Tiberian Sun were probably like some of the better ones.
They were so good.
With Red March and all that. Yeah.
Yep.
So what else we got?
We got John with Final Fantasy 3/6. Good one.
Yeah,
Warcraft 3, very good soundtrack. Warcraft 3. Homeworld, great. The OG Tribes, I don't remember hearing. Roberta, the guild mom over at the Classic Gamers Guild. We love you, Roberta. Loom, fantastic. The LucasArts game. You remember that one?
Vaguely, like I'm going to have to look at this. Apparently, Loom.
The LucasArts Scum VM game, Loom.
Okay.
Oh, if you've never played that, go get that on GOG and play that shit as soon as you can.
I'm going to check that out.
That's a
Speaking of
MIDI
LucasArts, though, I remember a game called The Dig. It had a really
very good soundtrack,
super chill soundtrack. Or well, I don't think it's full orchestral, but it was like as orchestral / MIDI as you could get. For the 90s,
for the time,
kind of
that, that was a great game. Wasn't that Alec Baldwin voice too?
No, yeah, it was voiced. Yeah, it had Patrick. He played the Terminator 1000.
Robert Patrick. That's who it was.
Robert Patrick. Yes. Yeah. He was one of the voices, and he was like the all-star in the cast, but it was definitely a fully voiced game. So again, another one, like I'm sure it's on GOG, but yeah, another point adventure.
Sorry, my camera slipped.
Oh my God,
what's happening?
While you're fixing that, very boring says not soundtracks, but 2 pieces that have been stuck in my head for decades with the title music from the original Elite. Gotta dock them ships, yes, the Elite games, yeah, and then some music from Bard's Tales series, yeah.
Oh yeah, those are great. Let's see. Kingdom Hearts, very good. Hades. Oh man, how could I have forgotten even to mention that? That game's soundtrack is absolutely killer. That's a really good soundtrack. Donkey Kong Country. That's a great one, Brian.
Yeah, like that because wasn't that it was 64, right?
Yeah. No,
the
first one was on Super Nintendo, I think.
It was the Super Nintendo. Okay. I kind of remember, like, I think it was something like where it maxed out as much as possible the audio chip interface.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that thing could have done
with
anymore.
Donkey Kong. Yeah.
My buddy Jeff chimed in with The Last of Us. That's another wonderful soundtrack. Very, very chilling.
Last one, yeah. And the Uncharted series, yes, absolutely.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, that's a fantastic one. Eric, Chrono Trigger, followed by the Mass Effect soundtracks, especially 2, 1000% agree. Shadow of the Colossus is one I don't know. I haven't played that game enough either, but I've heard wonderful things.
Yeah, surprisingly, I haven't played it, but I remember I picked up the soundtrack and I enjoyed it. I'm going to have to find it in my library somewhere. I know I have it.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Let's see. Crazy Curry also calls out to give a shout out to the World of Warship soundtrack. True, yeah, I'd say like the Warship soundtrack is actually pretty decent. I say listen on repeat, but have it on. Like it's one of the few games
just
that I can
chill to.
Turn on and chill to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I lost my phone at some point during the camera mishap. So
Uh-oh.
I can't even read my own chat.
We've got the phone down.
I'm not ignoring y'all. I love you and I'm sorry. But that will bring us to the end of the comments thread. That was a lot of great stuff. And thank you all for interacting and giving your best soundtracks that you love. If you want to call and leave voicemails for the next episode, like Uncle Fred or the rest of the folks, like our buddy Los, you can call 610-810-1654 and talk to us about whatever the hell you want. And we'll address it on the show. Or you can come hang out with us as we record live. That's always great, too. Retro Rents Al on Twitch. Sorry. Other than that, we'll move on to conclusions, final thoughts, or shout-outs. Nick, what do you got going on?
Nothing much going to the end of the year. Again, if you're able to donate to 8-Bit Salute, a great organization that works with veterans and military members, providing valuable entertainment and supplies, whatnot, to the troops. Definitely greatly appreciated. Other than that, can you stay safe, everybody?
Stay safe. All right, I will give the big shout out to the fans. We love you all very much. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out every week, listening to us during your morning drives, if you still have them, or at least during your morning walks to your desks, if you're doing that. Big shout out to our boys at the Bad Fodder Figures who were recording simultaneously. I promise I'm going to start recording on Fridays if we can swing it, or at least another day, because I just realized we're recording in the same slot as they are, and I love those guys, and I know everybody wants to kind of hang out in both, so I don't want to do that. It's just me being lazy and dead by Friday, but I'll make sure to get some sleep. And shout out to the boys and Married to the Game. Shout out to Denny Loose and the Loose Screw and the crew at Tap the Craft. I love you guys. And Denny actually recommended a really good book that I'm getting into now, or I'm going to be getting into after I finish this next book I'm reading on Prohibition. That was the inspiration for Empire of Sin, called Last Call. So I just want to thank you for that reco. It's queued up, and I'll listen to that when I'm done with this one. Other than that, where can you find us? You can hang out with us at the Save Point at tiny.cc/savepoint. You can email us at theretrorents@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at theretrorents, or me at retrorentsal. Nick is at Black Eagle Ops. You can hit us up on Twitch. You're probably doing that now at retrorentsal. Nick is at Black Eagle Ops. I want to thank Nick's crew for coming to chill and coming to hang with us tonight. Much appreciate that. And everybody that came to hang out tonight and let me know they shit their pants when they arrived in my stream, I appreciate the heads up, and just make sure you sweep it up on your way out. And other than that, I hope everybody has a really great holiday season. I will definitely try to finagle a way to get one more episode in before Christmas holidays if we can swing it. I know I'm not going anywhere, and I'm off starting the 21st, I think. 20th or 21st. So we'll try to get one in, I think.
I think we can squeeze in one more for the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think, are we at the year wrap up point? Is that where we're at? I think.
The next one will be for sure.
The best of the year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our next episode. We're going to do our best of. We'll do a best of 2020, and that'll be a tough one. This has been, especially at that point, Cyberpunk will have been out.
Yeah, I think that's like
we all know
I
where the
don't
number
see
one
any
spot
other big
is.
ones.
It's just who's going to come close.
yeah. Who's gonna? And we might bring in the categories, but that's also something for our audience. Just like think about what is your top top 10 top game of the year.
Top 10 for 2020.
2020, yeah. Like I'd say try and keep it to what's come out in 2020, but you know what? Let's open it up and say, has there been a game
on there? But let 2020 be the top priority.
Yeah, is there a game that's carried you through the craziness that's been 2020?
Perfect.
I'll throw that into the mix as well.
All right. And on that note, folks, we are going to kill it for episode 68. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for hanging out. Till next time, have fun, play games, don't be dicks.
Peace.
See ya.